Hey everyone, I'm so excited to get on and do this video. I'm gonna give you one framework, one thing you should do to make all your video content perform at its highest ability. It's gonna make your content creation easier. Whether you're a social media manager or a business owner, please stay tuned to the end when I'm breaking down specific examples of how this works and how you can use it in your business. The idea is really simple. So we always hear the phrase, execution is more important than the idea, right? And this is true in many areas, but for social media, one way we can create really, really great content that performs really well is to think that a great idea eliminates the details of execution, right? So I'll give you another example. I follow a YouTube channel called Salary Transparency Street. Now, Salary Transparency Street does something interesting. They go around, they ask everyday people, what's your salary? So they ask, what's your salary? And after that, they'll follow up with a question and say, well, what do you do? So you get a person's salary and like the actual job they're doing. But for the most part, they don't really go too much farther in that in their interviews. Now, when you look at the young lady that does the interviews, she isn't Oprah of interviews. She isn't asking some life-changing questions. She isn't doing anything that's super out there or super well rehearsed or, in that sense. She's just asking an extremely interesting question. This is the power of this concept, is that when you ask a really interesting question, it doesn't matter who asks it anymore, right? So the person doing it isn't as important anymore. The iPhone or the camera you use isn't as important anymore. All the details, where you ask them, whether you ask them in New York or whether you're in a small town in the middle of nowhere, it's still interesting to ask that particular question to anyone, right? And so the details don't matter as much, and that's important. When we're creating content, there's always this idea of, okay, do we need the latest big camera, small camera, iPhone, this and that? But when your idea is strong, the camera doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the person recording has shot millions of videos before, or the person recording this is their first video recording, right? As long as they can hold the camera steady, the execution, the details of it don't matter as much, because the idea itself is so creative and interesting. It's something that people want to watch. And so another example, there's a video I watched, and it's from a car dealership. And so there's a person going around the office, and they're asking, what is the most unreliable car brand? And so everyone's giving, this brand and that brand and this brand and that brand, and everyone's giving their own individual opinions. And it's almost like a group survey around the office, and they do maybe roughly 10 or 12 people they ask this question to. But this is one of those questions where it's just interesting to hear someone's opinion about what they think is an unreliable car, especially if they're in car sales or auto shop. Now, the reason this is such a powerful idea is because you don't need anyone to say anything funny. They can just say the car they think is unreliable. I think it's Ford. I think it's a Chrysler. I think it's a GM. I think it's a Honda, or Hondas are reliable. But whatever the case may be, no one has to say anything funny. No one has to be interesting. No one has to be a character. No one has to be a large personality. Nothing is needed to make that content interesting. It's just interesting in and of itself because the question that was asked was interesting. And so that format, I kind of call it like a group survey format, where you go around your office. So it could be a law office, a dentist office, and you just ask someone a question, interesting question, and just their response alone is interesting for people to hear. So as you can see, if you're thinking about viral content, you're a social media manager, and you're like, I want to do a little dance with the office, and Janice, who works at the office, she's 62, and she doesn't know anything about TikTok, and you're trying to get her to learn some new dance. Let Janice sit down. You know what I mean? Let Janice have a break. Janice is trying to retire in 2 years, and you guys doing all this extra stuff. A better thing for Janice would just be to ask her a question. Hey, Janice, what's your favorite meal to cook at home, right? And so you can ask Janice that, you can ask this person that, you can ask Jason that, you can ask this person that, and now you have an interesting video, right? So as you're creating the content, all you have to do is just make ideas that resonate with your business a little bit more. The questions don't have to be random that people find interesting. They don't have to be kind of out in left field, but they can be related to your business, which helps drive traffic to your page and wants people to get to know more about you. And so I hope this concept was great. Please drop in the comments if this is helpful. Again, remember, a really, really great idea eliminates the need for specific execution in any particular way. I hope this is helpful to you guys. Keep watching.